Okay, this is a clip for Zach, who asked, and I deliver because I like to be useful. You wanted to know how Brute Dirty worked. You also wanted to see what I think is some of my other sort of workflows with CTFs, I guess, and my OSCP. I'm still in the middle of it, so this is like not yet. Um, Proven to be totally successful. Once I pass, then maybe it will be. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the brute dirty function. It's really straightforward. A couple of bash aliases that just make my life a bit easier. A few bash functions that I have in my ZSHRC file. A couple of scripts that I also have that are really important. For me, you might think they are or not. They just make my sort of OffSec life a lot easier. So I'm going to start with the aliases, and all of the code will be available afterwards. But it's always good if you write it out yourself, even if you're just literally copying, because it you just have to process it. And I think having to process information just helps you retain it. Um, what else was I going to say? And the other thing is, some stuff I am not showing because I haven't really checked if the OPSEC is okay for me to just put it up on YouTube. As you can tell, I don't spend much time editing these videos. They're straight up screen records because I'm not a YouTuber. I'll keep saying that you're watching this on YouTube, but I'm just here to help. Anyway, what you're looking at is VS Code, which is just on the left hand side, just so I can write stuff down. I've got Obsidian on the top right, sorry, VS Code on the left, Obsidian top right, and then a bash terminal just in a YT YouTube sort of temp folder. So these are like really important aliases that I have in my machine. Um, so alias pub, just in case I need. In fact, forgive me, that one is an error. That doesn't matter. Watch, every time I run watch, I just want to watch something for 2 seconds. Like that's the interval. TCP listen, if I want to just check that like ping is coming back, I start writing TCPL and then it goes what you want to listen, like this. Uh, and then obviously I authenticate, but if it's already in a sudoed um, or privileged terminal, then it's just a lot faster than typing out the ICMP bit. So ping count for like it's just a wraparound ping really. I don't want to keep like pinging over and over again. I just want to do four and then I'm done. CL is just clear. So if I have like loads of stuff in the terminal and I just want to tidy it up, I like a tidy terminal. It must be said. So I just have CL, and then CLL is just like clear, and then tell me what's in this directory, like that. Like not a lot, just some passwords and some stuff. Um, CX. So if I have a bash script and I just want to make it executable, then I just type CX in the name and it's done. That's another thing. And then just putting my M in alphabetical order is just a bit nicer. I dare not do that here. I don't know what it's going to shows, but you can get the idea. Then, um, so basically, if I want to start the VPN for OSCP, I just run OSCP. I think it's already running on a different terminal, so it will probably say duplicate session. That doesn't matter. And then the same for hack the box. If I'm on a hack the box, I just want to link to their terminal. Same thing. It just makes your night life a bit easier. Um, it knows where those files are. And then this one, so currently what you're looking at is my virtual machine, but say if I want to get to the actual host, like say yesterday I had to look through a binary in Procmon. um, I I'm not going to currently I'm not spinning up a separate Windows machine, and I'm not networked between the two. I just do it on the actual host. And so if I want to open up this file, this is on my local machine, on my Kali VM, forgive me. Um, and what I want to do is just allow my host to see that what's in there, so then I can share files between the two. But I don't want to have that open for long. I just it unsettles me. So I just have an alias to open it, and then when I'm done with what I'm doing, then I close it, basically. Um, so those are the main aliases that I think I could share at this point. A nice bash function is MCD, and it's just make a directory and then go in it. But it just is a lot nicer if you're just going MCD foo, and now I'm in foo, MCD bar. So if I just want to, like, I don't know, let's say I'm doing a phishing, uh, you know, aspect of a box, then I just want to put all the phishing stuff in one place. So that's just one function. Um, yeah, and then so remove foo. Okay, tidy up. So the next one, so like as you're on your hacking journey, CTF voyage, whatever you call it, you'll start collating like information about different things, such as you land on a Windows machine, how do I add a new user? And how do I add them to an administrator? So I've got this function called, in fact, I'll show you the code first. So basically, XS. So what it will do is it will look through my hacking snippets file, which I have, and this is something I'm not going to share, but I just encourage you to make your own, because it's so vast, my one. It would take me ages to sanitize it. It just checks that it's the right place. If not, it will say like I can't find it, and then it just greps for basically and colors what I was looking for. And then if it finds it, it prints them out. And the way I have my snippets file structured is it's a bit bastardized markdown, so it will be in markdown blocks so I can read it, but then it also has like heavily commented sort of terminal comments, which you'll see in a second. So say, um, well, I'll just show you like, um, so let's say I XS, and I know like I normally always, if I want to add a new user, I normally add hacker in the OffSec world. So if I run that, it will highlight everywhere hacker is. If I zoom out a touch, or in fact, I'll just make this like full for now and zoom right in and go up a bit. So I think I could do that again. So here you can see like I've kind of got like a bit of a coding, my own coding for how to add a hacker or an account called hacker, I should say, to Windows. And just FYI, CP means you can run this on the command terminal or you can run this in PowerShell. If it was just a P and a dash, it's only run it in PowerShell. If it's just a C, it's only run in DOS prompt. And then let's say like I'm looking for um, Windows Privisk. Yes, and like that. Then I've got like you see how the comments come into sort of play here. Like okay, so I'm looking like now I'm at a stage where I'm doing Privesk. So I need to find all my like previous commands. Um, this might not be the most elegant way of doing this. This is just the way I'm doing it. Um, so yeah, if you have anything to offer in way of improvement, please, um, like that you download the repo at the end, add the changes, and then put them up, or whatever. But yeah. So you can see like, okay, Privesk, maybe I can like find an unquoted binary path, stuff like that. So that's that really. Um, um, okay, so next one, next function. So server. I just want to spin up a little Python server. I know I could like commit this to memory, but I just can't be bothered. I just want to be ideating on what I should do next, where I should be going, what have I got, what are my possibilities, what are my options, all that stuff. So I just bother like I don't bother doing this. I just have serve, and then I can just like go make me a server on port, I don't know, 7654, and it just starts it. Um, it just tells me, yeah, now your server's up. Just a little thing, just makes your life a bit easier. In terms of listeners as well, so you might have seen I've got another listener one. Um, I don't use NCAT. I could, but I don't. I mean, if what I go to by default, um, excuse me one second. Yeah, pardon me. What I go to by default is Penelope, which is a terminal handler or a shell handler. There is one in Meterpreter. I could probably use that. I probably will use that, but at the moment I use Penelope. Penelope. So my listener function is this. So I I know where Penelope is, right? Um, and then it just launches Penelope with on the port. And Penelope does loads of great things. Like so, if I just say list 4444. So when the shell comes in, I don't know if I can detach when the no. Um, yeah. So now I'm on the menu. Like no, I don't want to exit Penelope. I would like to get some help, please. So just again, I'll zoom right out or zoom right in. Um, so it just does some neat things that are just like simple, like upload, download files if it can. It'll upgrade the shell. So if you've got a crap, it normally automatically upgrades the shell to a more robust PTY session. Um, it also runs, so if it will do some handy things like run limpies. So if you press run, you've got a couple of these. I only ever really use peas, and it just basically will open another um, shell window that's running limpies in full color, and that's just really nice. Just saves you having to mess around with uploading WinPs, changing its execution privileges, and all of that stuff. So, um, a couple of short keys on Penelope. So, if you'll have all your sessions. So if I type sessions, it will say you don't have any, but you could, like, let's say you've got a script that keeps firing and giving you a session. It will clock them all up. So you could have like 10 different sessions. One of them could be admin. You can use the same port. So if you've got a binary on your machine, um, like if I come out of here, um, just put that back down there. So let's say, yeah, like if I was going to run a command like this, I've got the same binary that comes back to my listener on port 443. I just call it S43. I could run that like that could be the executable for some Windows payload, and so it will come back on the same port on Penelope. But say because I find with Netcat you're kind of fixed with the one port, and I mean, as far as I understand it, maybe I've got something to learn. So that's just a function that I have just to help me on my way. Okay. Um, I'm gonna go. I'll get to break that in a second. Um, it's not it's not a massive amazing thing. Um, so uh, oh, okay, yeah. So these two kind of go hand in hand. So just let me zoom in a touch more, just to make it as legible as possible. So add to password. So if I basically you don't need the passwords file. Let me move. I've got a passwords file here, but I'm just going to move it to passwords too, because it's got stuff in it that I need in a minute. So like basically it just writes to a passwords file in the directory you're in, which just becomes handy if you're spraying credentials and you start clocking up passwords. So if I add the passwords, yeah, not my password, okay, um, then I cap passwords. Oh, it's in there. I've got the same for add to user, but what this will do, it will also add it to the passwords file, because I've been caught out a couple of times where you'll be doing a box and the username or the password is the name of the box, and it's painfully frustrating. So I'm just like, I don't want to have to check that out. I don't want to have to go through that again. It's just a wind up. It's just like it, it's not security. It's like yeah, it's just sort of obscurity. That's what it is, security for obscurity and a pain in the ass at the same time. So add to users. If I add to users Michelle and then cap my passwords file, or now Michelle's in there, and Michelle will be at the bottom of my users file. My users file already has stuff in it, so don't be surprised. But you'll see at the bottom there'll be a new entry for Michelle. There we go. There's Michelle, and there's Michelle again from earlier. So yeah, that's the add to passwords, add to users. Okay, then this one as well is oh, so CTX word list. This is a context-based word list, and what this will do is it will go through all of the files in your current directory, and it will get all the strings which are greater than 4, and it will then basically make terms out of them. Because let's say you come to a web page, like I'm not gonna do a web page, but well, I guess like and then pipe that to HTML to text. I think that's what it's called. Let me just check. Yeah, L would be good. So let's say you have discovered a page, right? Um, and you just want to get some context for your fuzzing. And we'll just put it into a file called that. Um, right, and then I'll look at the. Oh, did we get anything? No. I'm trying to think. I've got a command somewhere, but I'm not going to do it. But basically, you've got some context, you've got some data, you've got some mmap scans, you've got some like interesting pages, you've got a list of usernames, you've got this, that, the other. Right. So when I run CTX word list, it will take everything that's in the current directory because of the find dot, and it will go right. Any files I want you to print everything out into Xargs, um, send the errors to nowhere, and then I can't remember what TR does, but it basically, I think it gets all the alphanumeric, everything, and then anything that's shorter than three it ignores, it sorts it, and it puts it into a 10-word list. Then it basically sorts that 10-word list into a word list and then gives you like a context-based list. If you've already got a context-based list, it will take that into consideration, and it will always dedupe everything. It will get rid of the duplicates. So if I just run it here, because we've only got 4 simple files, so I just run that. Now if I cat the context word list, we'll probably see like Michelle and stuff like that in there. But it just, when you're getting a bit sort of, I don't know, not desperate, but you're like looking on the fringes for like maybe edge approaches, that's what I do. So there you can see like there's lots of stuff here that's in the passwords file and all of that stuff. So yeah, and then you could go on to like use that with something like Hashcat to create a mutated password list. So yeah, that's another one. All right, so Brute Dirty. It just is a wrapper around netexec, NXC, map exec, as it used to be called. I think it had a name before that. So basically, if you find some creds and you want to pass them, you don't know what protocols they run on, you just want to check some set of credentials or a set of passwords against all the protocols, then this function just does it. So hopefully um, I think so. Let's see what happens here. You'll see the output. I'll put it like full screen. So this is like a previous command I ran. I think that IP is still up. I think I didn't disconnect my. So SSH always takes a bit longer. FTP doesn't exist on this host. Um, Crap. SMB does. Um, all right. And RDP is really slow as well. But let's say you're in the middle of something and you just want to like kick this off to see, spray some creds around. Um, Let me just check something a second. Okay. Okay, so on this occasion, I'm not going to bother um, showing this working. You just have to trust me. Um, but effectively, it just is a wrap around NetExec. Um, it's not too sophisticated, but I think where we are in history at the moment, we're all using NetExec for our spraying. Obviously, you could do something similar with Hydra or other things, but I'm working towards my black belt in hacking, which is just the beginning, and this is it. So, but essentially, it'll take files or like creds, so you can run it like this as well, like you know, and I think yeah, just slap it in some single quotes if you want. So again, these won't work, but you get a sense of how it works. So yeah, okay. And what is good as well is if you press cancel, I think it jumps to the next protocol, which is kind of nice. So it should do. Yeah, see, like, okay, look, there's no SSH, and it's called Breed Dirty because it is just really dirty. It's nothing. I didn't. I'm only showing you because you asked. So, okay, next one. This is kind of handy. Um, I I like this one. Tools. So it's just for my immediate tools, and I have a directory here where I just keep immediate tools. They're tools I just want to hand, and like as you saw earlier with that MSF Venom, um, so like S43, I'd normally have a fresh S43 in my immediate tools just for so it's ready to go. And then what this does is it will CD into immediate tools, or it will tell me it failed. It gets my local IP address because it will need that in a second. It then lists out all of the files in immediate tools just to remind me what I've got, and then um, it will then populate these like immediate commands for just getting stuff if I need it, and start serving it. So so yeah, again I will do that, and then if I go to imtools, that's the alias, or the function, it goes to immediate tools, lists everything out that I might need, so you can see these are the things I currently have, um, and then it starts serving them up and just gives me like the commands I need um, straight away. So uh, get rid of that, go back to the top, cd minus, go back to where I came from, and then put that down the bottom. Um, okay, so this one's quite useful because if you have an exploit or you just, because I don't know why like the Python version on Kali is a bit sensitive to changes, and you sometimes butt up against like permissions for installing stuff, and you need to do a virtual environment. So this is what I've done. So that's the function. Just make an exploit env and then activate it. So if I run that, then I'm in there, and then if I've downloaded like some sort of code, Python code to here, then I can run pip install, or install the requirements, whatever, and then it's just a case of deactivate, like, and then you just would do your cleanup afterwards, like when you're definitely finished with it. So that's that all gone. Um, okay. So the next one, a couple of times I got caught out with like my VM being completely bricked, or like just losing, my machine just got filled up with data. So um, two things for that housekeeping. In fact, yeah, I'll do these now and then I'll do my last one. So this one is a bit of a mouthful, but essentially it just makes me be sure that I want to like shut down, and it does a bit of tidy up as well. So it's just SSD for secure shutdown. So it basically moves all the images that I have from my CTF notes into the images folder. So it does a bit of tidy up, and it could do more. Then it does a clean, it does an auto remove, it gets rid of any thumbnails, it takes the rubbish out, it just clears up journal control, um, and that's it. And then it tells me, oh, it stops any Docker containers as well. And I think it might, no, that's it. And then it tells me how much memory I've got. I don't want to run it because I don't want to, well, I guess like, I'm not going to say yes. So, um, okay, so it tells me how much memory I've got. If I press yes, this video would end. But just so I know, okay, like you still got space, you're doing all right. So just type anything and it'll abort. Um, so that's that. And then the other one is, so this is what I run on my host every day. I'm not going to go into how to schedule a PowerShell job on a machine, but this script will basically, wants to auto run every time. It just, on your host machine, it just backs your VM up every day. And I have been caught out twice where I think when I tried doing an upgrade once, which was dumb, don't upgrade Kali, let them upgrade it. Um, so it just it prints this, it says press enter to run a backup. I wouldn't back it up when it's running. Wait, the job scheduled with me to run like, I think first thing in the morning. Um, but I could also run it like ad hoc when I want. But basically, um, it's looking for these files, and then it's got a place where it's going to back her up. It gets the date, and then it just does a backup on today's date. It does the backup, and then it cleans up the old one, removes the old one. That's basically what it does. I just can't stress how important it is to like set something up like this, because you can spend the you can spend a couple of days like reprovisioning your VM, the how you had it. If you don't have a backup of it, it's just a pain in the bum. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm just and too much of a noob. Um, okay, where's my mouse? That's odd. Okay, there we go. Um, so yeah, those are my two like closing down things, and then the other thing, the other one, um, is so this last one. So start session. Okay, it's a bit of a big one. Essentially, it just it's probably simpler if I run it and then you just read through it. What I should explain is I'll have a lot of templates. Like so, say, well, you'll see. Let me just, and the templates is something I'm not gonna share. I think it's really important that you make your own because you understand the attack vectors, the enumeration steps. Um, I think it's part of the process. Maybe I'll change my mind, or if you want to if anyone wants to convince me, then. Um, so yeah, I'm not going to at this point, but let's say there's a new box, right? I'm gonna just guess that's a bit distracting. So that script is tied to an alias called new box. So when I type new box, it basically runs that script. So new box, I'm just going to give it an IP address. I'm going to put this over here actually, and then just put that there. Okay, so new box, enter the name of the box, YouTube test. Is this a Windows or a Linux box? So let's just say it's a Windows box. Do you want to run a system update and search exploit refresh? That's, I can't emphasize enough, that's very important to do. Every day there could be something new, so it's just you're starting a new box, you should update some things. I'm going to say no at this point. Create notes checklist. That's what will be created in this Obsidian project, which is within a Git repo, which gets updated every 5 minutes if there's a change. So then my work is always saved because you don't want to wreck your notes and what you've been doing. So I do want to create that, and you'll see it's now been created in here, and it's been populated with three directories. These are the things I've chosen of command snippets. So I'm really sorry, it's really small, and I know I've got a massive screen and I can't. So I get, maybe it's good, maybe it's not. So AD snippets. So this is like a checklist of all the things I should be looking for. I can just go through. So yeah, I don't need to remember, and it's populated. So let look like, I don't know, get the password policy. Um, so there's the command. I just copy it if I wanted to use it. I'll come back to that in a minute. Um, so it's done that, and then it's created like a thing for YouTube test in my local machine. And then finally, do you want to open VS Code? Because sometimes it's handy to have it open in VS Code if you're like, I know, going through Nmap scans. I'm going to say no, and then it'll finally say, okay, great. Then lastly, just if you want to run that and start auto recon. And just on auto recon, I've only started using it recently because I didn't want to not know what I was doing with Nmap and Dirbuster, but now I do. Or not Durbo, GoBuster, whatever, WFuzz, whatever. I just wanted to just make my life a bit easier. So basically, it just says that now go into the directory where that is, and then kick off auto recon and get going. So if I go to here, in fact, if I go to, yeah, we'll go to here. Don't know why I'm copying this. I should just type it out. So you can see here now I've got YouTube test and it's coded. So like where I said W, it just put W in the name, just makes it easier. These are notes. This is separate on here, like these folders from the Obsidian project, which is in the repo. Um, so if I go into now, like, say, well, no, that's not a good one. Have creds, that's a good one. So these are like straight away, can I do any of these things? This is probably this whole thing. I mean, I don't know, it's not the best thing. It might be too much. It just helps me like, okay, if I need to tunnel, what do I do? Like reminds me I don't have to scramble around to find things. Wise people have told me with your OSCP, it's time that will get you. And I'm just looking, if anybody knows of I think it's David Brailsford, who was the England cycling coach, and his whole um like the compounding of marginal uh savings, I think, where like just shaving off a couple of seconds here, a couple of seconds there, it all adds up. I think of that, that's where this has come from. And also Charlie Munger, he says some wise things, but the thing about checklists is like I just think that's really powerful. So that's where I'm coming from. Anyway, so what this has done is it's populated the IP, saying this command. If I don't know if I can zoom in anymore. So it's like really legible and that, yeah. Can I get any more zoom? No, but this will do. So if I just copy that, um, so what I would then do, say if I've got a set of credentials, I'm like, okay, like Michelle and her password, I would go in here in Obsidian and I'd do a replace on all. This is probably not the most, super user of Bash way, but it's what I'm doing. And then I'll just swap the username and password out in all of these. The IP is already assigned, and it's assigned in loads of other commands, like all of these. So if I go into my like or enum, that's like my main one. I've got like tons. So it's just I just going. I know what word lists. These are other word lists. I can get stuck in. So yeah, that's how I do that, and that's what that tying it back to, is what that uh, new box function just allows me. Um, so yeah, I think that is everything. Yeah, I've missed. Oh, anyway, um, happy hacking.